This is a short video to show you how to install Linux on Windows 10. The first step is to go to your control panel and select the Programs options, and in the Programs options select Authorize Windows Applications. So you can't see it very well here, it's the option hidden on the right side, but then you get this menu of choices that you can open, and you just have to select the options Virtual Machine and Linux. Okay, once this is done, you just save the options and your system should be configured, but ideally you should restart the computer. So on step 2, you will actually go to the Windows PowerShell. Please remember to open it as admin, and this implies to right-click on the PowerShell option to open it, and then you will paste on this command line the command that is provided in the tutorial. And this will basically install the VirtualBox and the Linux option within your operating system. This takes a little while. I'm kind of trying to show you how long it actually took. And in the end, when it's finished, it will either just show you that you have installed Linux and show a prompt with Linux user, or it may restart the computer. In any case, you should restart the computer in order to guarantee that everything is installed. Now, the next step is actually to go to the Microsoft Store and download Linux. You can choose different options, but I went for the simple Ubuntu system. So you can just open the store, search for Ubuntu. You will have more than one option. Just go for the one with the short name. And you can click to download and then install this. Download actually took a little while, and then installation was launching the program was quick, and you will see in the next window how this went. Okay, so this is the Ubuntu version we want. You first download it, and then when the download is complete, so here you can install, choose to install. Okay, and this step actually takes a little while. Okay, so in the end you will find Ubuntu added to your menu. When you open it for the first time, you start installing, and this may take a little while, and once it's installed, it will ask you for a username. You can choose any username you like, and then it will ask you for a password. Okay, so I just went for Linux user for the username, and then it asks for the password and the password confirmation. So once you cover this first step of running your Linux, your Ubuntu installation for the first time, the program actually starts and goes through all the system, and pretty soon it will be ready to use. Okay, so now we can actually go back to the class tutorial and download our exercise file for you to see how you can take the first steps in looking at files using Linux. So when you download from OneDrive, from the link that was provided in class, your file will end up in the downloads folder. If you try to open it, it will say you don't have the proper application installed, but it's actually not true, because these are text files, so you can actually open them, but you have to go to the folder, select the file, and then say open with, for example, Notepad. And you can actually look at the size of the file that you should be getting. And if you try to open it using Notepad, because it's not this is just a bit of a FASTQ file, you can see the FASTQ file structure. Okay. However, because it doesn't have the TXT extension, your computer will not recognize it. Okay. So now we can start looking at it directly on Linux. Now the problem you have here is that you have to discover where this file is. And if you do list to figure out where your system just opened, you will see that there's really no folders in your directory. So to make things easier, I just started by creating a folder on the desktop to keep our files, so we know that it's on the desktop rather than in the downloads folder, because it was actually full of files. I have to say I borrowed my daughter's computer to do this, because I really don't use Windows for work. You'll find out that a lot of people that do bioinformatics prefer Mac just because the operating system is Unix based, and you can work with the Mac OS directly. So once you have the file in a place, you can go back to Ubuntu and try to figure out your directory structure. Okay, so what happens when you install these Linux versions on Windows is that you will have access to all your directory tree, but you have to go to a specific place to find it. So it's not on the directory you enter, it's still not in the home directory. You have to move a couple of steps back, and I'm using the command change directory ... to actually do this. Just showing you that you can use the up arrow to recall commands that you have just used. So by using the up arrow, I can go to one of the last commands, which was ls. And so your computer files will be found on that directory called MNT. So in MNT you will find the C disk, so you can change directory into MNT and then put C immediately there. Okay, now if you call for ls, you will see all the folders that are in the C disk, and among them you will find the desktop. So you can keep on jumping until you get to, before the desktop level you have the users. In this case the computer user is Johnny Dash, and then that's at that level that you will find the desktop. You just have to navigate to figure out what's the directory structure on your specific computer. Okay. Once you type letters that are unique to the name of the folder or file that you want to go to, you can use the tab button and it will automatically fill in the missing information. So I didn't actually write desktop, I just wrote DES and used the tab button to complete it. So now I'm on the desktop, and you can see here that there's my AOBB folder. I can jump into it using change directory, and once I'm there I can actually do again the list command to see what's in there, and there you have it, you have exercise. So this is an important thing about Linux, is that it will only look at files that are in the same directory level as you yourself, as the user is. If you want to look at files that are in other levels of your directory tree, you actually have to provide the path to it. Okay, and you can easily do this, it's just write everything down. Okay, so what I did here was just to take a look at the exercise file by using the command head as it's suggested in the tutorial, and now I'm trying to figure out how many lines file has by using the command word count with L. Okay, so this was just basically to show you how easy it is to install Linux on Windows.